Perhaps not Miri's wisest decision, splurging on a new wardrobe at REI that would almost certainly get destroyed by this trip, but she wanted to at least try to look the part of tough, rugged archaeologist. Her normal go-to dig outfits consisted of little more than yoga pants and a few Columbia hiking shirts she found on the clearance rack at TJ Maxx, something not far off from her regular everyday attire, come to think of it. But she had big shoes to fill. Or rather, big shoes to impress. That, and she couldn't help but want to emulate her idol, who always looked effortless, hardcore, and hot as hell. Miri slung her backpack around to the ground and crouched beside it, searching the pockets for a wet wipe, when a figure appeared alongside her. Shit! She glanced up toward the voice and, holy moly, was everyone in this country a supermodel? The man looked like he could star in an ad with the likes of Alessandra Ambrosio or Marlon Teixeira, and Miri would buy whatever products he was selling. Surfboards, cologne, men's underwear, you name it. He stared down the empty street in the direction the departed bus had gone, seemingly oblivious to Miri, one hand on his hip, the other rubbing his forehead below the hairline of his luscious, shiny, wavy, to die for jet black locks. His gray Henley stretched across his chest, outlining every ripple beneath the thin fabric. With the sleeves pushed up, she could see the flexing muscles in his forearms, taut and beckoning for her touch. He had to have been 6'2", 6'3", judging by the location of his knee in relation to her crouched view. Hard to tell by his towering position, and when preoccupied by his incredibly good looks. Miri gulped before ordering herself to stop staring, but his presence commanded her attention. This was why she didn't date. Because she got all deer in the headlights whenever she saw someone she found attractive. And then they'd stare at her like there was something wrong with her. And then she'd gasp like a fish out of water. And then their faces would contort with confusion, trying to figure out whether she needed help. And then her face would turn the brightest shade of crimson on the color scale. And then they'd leave. The entire scene unfolded in Miri's mind, distracting her from the can of sour cream and onion Pringles rolling out of her bag toward the man's foot. She watched as his head shifted downward toward the dull thump against his boot, and she quickly dipped her head, scrambling to snatch up the runaway snacks. But as she reached over, the rest of the contents of her backpack cascaded onto the sidewalk. A couple of Kind bars, a bag of trail mix, some cheddar cheese and cracker combos, peanut butter M&Ms, and much-needed Altoids for her sour cream and onion breath. He crouched down to assist her, but Miri hurried to gather up her belongings. "Don't mind me, just a regular old convenience store over here," she said, with strained laughter in her voice. But all she got in return was the stare. "Oh, I'm sorry," she said, realizing that she probably sounded like a silly American talking gibberish. He must not have understood her. "Inglés?" With a quick shake of his head, the man seemed to snap out of a daydream. Yes, I speak English." Miri detected a hint of an accent, though not quite the Portuguese accent she'd expected. She also detected a slight flutter in her stomach at the way his rich brown eyes scanned her face. "Sorry," he continued. "I was distracted, checking out your goods." Never mind. Now she had a flutter. He waved his hands. "Not your goods, but the goods. From your convenience store. I mean, it's quite the selection." "Nothing beats snacks from home when traveling internationally, right? What'll you have?" She fanned her hands over the bounty in an offering. "Oh no, I can't." He held up his hands in protest. "I insist. Just not the Pringles." "Why is that?" He ticked his head to the side, eyeing her curiously. "Because you know what they say. Once you pop..." "And I've popped, and now cannot stop," she said. Instantly, she regretted the level of dorkiness infused in her attempts at